Welcome back to a brand new episode of Charm City Beat. We are recapping the Ravens win over the Cardinals. Went out to the desert, picked up the dub. A little weird at the end, but we're going to talk about it. Um, yeah, the Ravens come away with a 31-24 victory over the Cardinals. The score was way closer than the game was, but what are you going to do? We're still at the top.
Yeah, it's one of those games where it after the Lions game, it kind of felt like a letdown, but at the same time, it's a road win in the NFL. It's their third straight win, I think, or is it their
Yeah.
fourth? It's on the road. You can't take that away from them, and I think the Ravens showed that they can now start putting wins together. And so I'm happy with it. I think it could definitely some things they can work on, but it's a W, and we'll take it.
Yeah, I don't want to mention this, but I said this was going to happen. They said before the Detroit game, this is such a Raven thing. They're gonna dominate Detroit, then they're gonna go to Arizona and be like, oh crap.
It is the Ravens' way to play down to the opponent.
But you know what? At least they played up to their opponent also.
That's true.
We as much as we don't like it, we'll take the playing down, but at least they will usually play up also. So you don't have to worry about that. I would like us not to.
Yeah.
Just funny how it's gonna like Justin Tucker missed field goal. Like I honestly knew he was gonna miss it. There's just a gut feeling. I was like, he's gonna miss this shit. This is the Ravens right now. This is how we play football. You can't just play normal football anymore. It's just you have oh.
No, my dad, every time Harbaugh goes on fourth down, he'll like, whoa, does he not like Tucker anymore? Does he not like Tucker? After the missed field goal went up, maybe you need to stop questioning him not liking Tucker all the time.
Are we concerned at all?
I
Like
was
I
about to
honestly
say.
no longer trust Tucker outside 50 yards. He's been very inconsistent this year at long distance. And I don't know if it's just a down year for him or is he I mean he's been in the league for like 11 years now.
Yeah, I mean, his leg is definitely getting
It's it's
pivoted.
it's it's see, it's not the leg. He's getting it there. It's
I
like
mean, the
this one.
leg
He
encompasses
just
the accuracy and the power. So, I mean, yeah,
but see, the thing
the
is,
leg's a full
thing
machine.
you normally worry about with the age is he's this one. It just curved. Those are things I think can be fixed. If he wasn't getting it there,
Mm-hmm.
then we can be concerned. I think just aiming and all that, that's something he's a veteran. He can be like, hey, what am I doing here?
Well,
And
there
I
was,
still trust him with
oh,
the game on the line. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. There was one, and the reason why is there was something I noticed about the field. Again, paying attention
That
to the details. That
terrible.
field is terrible. How much can we equate that missed field goal to that field? I mean,
That
again, the field was broken up before the second quarter.
that field was god awful. I saw one play where Stanley was in a block and got both his legs slipped out from underneath him.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, it
we're
was
lucky we
just,
came away healthy, to be
yeah.
honest.
That there could have been a few leg injuries that I think we literally dodged some huge missiles, not even just bullets, just missiles. Like that field easily. I don't know how that field's even running. Like what? Again, I saw the missed kick and I was like, a
It
couple of
feels
plays later,
great.
I saw how destroyed the field was. It made sense. But I mean, one guy that did not give a fuck about the quality of field, Gus Edwards. Man put on a fucking clinic. 3 touchdowns? Three?
Yeah, and he was like the only thing in that offense that was just consistently producing. Like the wide receivers. I mean, as much as we were throwing in the first half, we didn't really produce any yards outside a couple of
We
like
way
big
too
chunk
much.
plays. And even the running game really, I think we had what 20 some yards in the first half, and we were like, are we gonna have 100 yards again? But he ended up having a great second half and putting the game away with some hard running. And I think it was his third touchdown where he jumped out and it bounced out and got the touchdown. The thing of
Yeah.
beauty. And so I think they didn't trade for, Henry. And I think I'm okay with it because they have Gus Edwards looks all like he can handle the rock.
Mm-hmm.
No, like I said, ironically, did we pass too much? early on, they were basically saying you're not going to pass again. They rushed 3 and 4 and had everyone in zone staring at Lamar. That's basically saying we should hand the ball off, which we did in the second half, and all of a sudden, like,
Yeah.
So as much as we're like, we run, maybe we should have run a little more. Like I said, to be fair, there were times where Lamar held on to it too long.
Yeah.
Saw 4 plays. I think someone posted where I was watching them and I was like, there's an open guy. Oh, nope, he didn't throw it to him. No, there's a guy. Nope, okay. What?
Yeah.
But
I
luckily,
mean,
Monken realized that and ran in the second half.
I don't know. I have a hard time saying we passed too much when Mark Andrews is getting 2 touchdowns in his hometown. I thought that was the dopest shit ever, by the way. It's like, dude hasn't played football in his home state since high school. 2 touchdowns on the game in front of family and friends. That's fucking awesome. You can't beat that. And if it wasn't for that, I don't know what the score would have been.
I agree. But getting down to those red zones, like I said, short passes weren't working. Gus had 19 for 80. He could have probably had 20 something for over 100 if we ran it earlier in the game, just to even loosen them up. They were clearly saying, you're not passing. We saw what you did. We're playing zone and watching the hell out of you.
Yeah. Well, it didn't really work for him, too.
But I think I'm excited because this is the last road game for a while. We have 300 games in a row. Big stretch coming up against some big teams. Not just Seattle, which is this week coming up, but the Bengals and the 49ers and the Chargers and the Dolphins and the Steelers and the Browns. Like, I mean, we took care of business, and I think that's the biggest thing against a way inferior opponent. And so I think it's I think it's testament to like how good the Ravens are that we're always looking at like not the negative, but like I mean this team is 6 and 2,
Yeah.
and it doesn't feel like that to me. But I think it's because we have such high expectations for what the team can look like. I'm guessing like we should easily be 8-0 right now.
100%. And I think that is just the Baltimore way. You know, we tend to be overly critical where you could go right down the Beltway and see a completely different story from a completely different organization. And we're over here sitting here bitching about being what 6-2. Like, come on, that's
Yeah, look at Detroit. Like we absolutely destroyed them,
just
and they couldn't be
annihilated.
happier. They're as happy as pig and shit right now. Because they're 6-2,
Yeah.
and like the sky is falling. It's amazing, and the Ravens are 6-2. Are like, oh,
Like, how dare you be
son of a bitch.
great?
But that's what
um,
happens when you have 2 championships and like 5 Hall of Famers in 20 years. Like
yeah,
standard is a little different. So I respect it.
yeah. Our defense shows up, man. Our defense is on fire. Our defense is great. Like, seriously great. Like, again, this is one of, I think, looking back, looking ahead in 10 years, we'll be saying this is one of the historical Raven defensive eras. I honestly think the Roquan era will be one of the greatest defenses, period, that the Ravens have had. Not with help from his friends, though. Let's talk about Michael Pierce. Let's rip the band-aid off. Dude showed up. What? Oh my God. Matabike has been a beast all season. That D line that I had some questions about, not knowing who was going to do what, no question. One of the best D lines next to San Francisco, who just got Chase Young. But again, the Ravens literally have one of the best defensive lines in the NFL.
But I think that's what made the Ravens old so good. You know, the Sam Adams and the Gooses of
Yeah.
2000, and
Ellie
you
Gray.
know, having Greg Kelly and then Haloti Nada. And I think that ultimately is what, made this team so good. And now you finally kind of have that identity up front, which we just lacked for years.
So,
And I mean, it was a horrible broadcast on Sunday, and they made the obnoxious comparison to the 2000 Ravens. I was like, that's cool and all. But like the fact that here, like we have that, plus we have a Hall of like a all-star in Lamar Jackson who's playing MVP level. And it's kind of true. Like this is the most balanced team I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
And I think you're seeing the benefits of that. But to your point, Michael Pierce, absolute animal on Sunday. He didn't get any recognition in Peter King's, Monday morning quarterback that he does every week. And I was like, that's
Yeah.
a shame because he had a tremendous defensive week, even if he is just not putting up the gaudy stats that your other players might get,
Yeah.
like a Geno Stone, but he was there wrecking people.
Just being a monster.
Yeah, because I said earlier, our linebacker core benefits when we have big fat boys up front opening holes so they can just run free through.
Yeah.
Now, imagine this defense if we could finish every sack we got there. You gotta work on that a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, and that how about Owe? I think his play has been so good in the last couple of weeks. Like, mm, like his one play that he didn't get that sack. He said it was,
Yeah, I mean, rightfully so. I mean, Owe has been one of the players that, even on the show over the last couple of years, we've had our questions.
Mhm.
But I think, battling these injuries, it's really showed just the type of player he is. He's been battling injuries, but he's still been playing great. He's still been consistent. And there's a lot to be said about him. I think, again, I think it's safe to say, me personally, I'll just say myself, had a lot of questions about Eric DeCosta's picks over the last few years. I think it's safe to say we all have. But this year, they're all coming. Everything I feel like is blooming when it should have. It's almost like we're in the spring right now, and everything is blooming and beautiful again.
it's just, and I think it points to he took some project players, not
Mm-hmm.
just Owe, but Patrick Queen. These guys are raw.
Yep.
They got him after playing football during COVID. So like this, I just feel like it wasn't almost fair for us to. But again, it was fair because they're first round players, and you took these guys in the first round. But they honestly, if there was a minor league in football, that's where they would have gone because
Mm-hmm.
they just weren't ready. And I feel like Oweh's finally arrived.
Yeah.
Patrick Queen is flourishing. They're both in line to get paid soon. Even like Kyle Hamilton took some time to get going. And I just feel like they're all kind of meshing now at the same time. And then allowing guys like Geno Stone and Stevens to kind of show out,
Yeah.
which is exciting. And even a Michael Pierce, Matabuke took him
That'd be
a
great.
little longer than I think we expected. There was talk of him
Every
last year being the best player in football on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously premature, but he had a huge camp.
basically they've pointed out pretty much every defensive player from the 2020 draft has decided this was a year they want to know how to play football and ball out.
Because they want to get paid.
Exactly.
That
Funny
money
how that
talk.
works.
No, yeah, without it. I mean, you're looking at a team, and again, we're at the trade deadline. We're filming Halloween night. Happy Halloween, by the way. We are filming on Halloween night, so it's about 11:37. Trade deadline's passed. We're past. We're at the midway point of the season, so it is too early to start talking about, but it ain't at the same time. Defensive player of the year, we have at least two candidates. I can see that. Matabike, Geno Stone, who leads the league in interceptions, playing as good as Ed Reed. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. Um, I mean, that's where we're at right now.
Plus Roquan Smith, who I think has just
Oakland,
been
yeah.
steady effing Eddie in the middle of that defense, unheralded because he doesn't put up the gaudy stats. I
He
mean, Ray
doesn't
Lewis
need
got the
to.
interceptions. Ray Lewis got the all of like the accurate, the big time stats.
Mhm.
But as far as just like middle of the huddle, making all the plays, being there, keeping everyone going and stuff like to
Yeah,
me, that's so reliable and so amazing. And he probably won't win DP Player of the Year because of, I mean, the other stats aren't there, but animal, absolute animal.
I mean, here's the thing, and I get it. Stats are great, and getting those awards, the week of the Super Bowl, that's awesome and everything. But even more important is what I've seen out of Roquan that awards just can't detail. I watch the Marlon Humphrey, going home like streams he does on Instagram. They're cool, they're funny. And he was talking like over the weeks. I've noticed something he's brought up because he always finds Roquan on this plane. By the way, the Ravens just have ungodly money. By the way, it's insane. But finds Roquan, and he's always talking about how Roquan's the one leading the huddles. Those pregame huddles. Roquan's the one virtually run into defense. And again, sure, he's not going to get the award for defensive player of the year, most likely. It may not happen. And that's okay because the way he's playing and the way he has that defense in line, a defense could be holding up an even more important trophy at the end of the year off of that alone. Yeah.
I agree. I remember I was into the I went to a Halloween party Sunday for my niece and yeah, cousin doesn't matter. And on the the way home, because I got out of that party at like exactly 3:30, they were talking pregame and they were talking about Roquan Smith pumping up the defense before the game, and he's saying something because they're all fucking pissed off.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is amazing because that's not something that I expected when we brought him in here. I knew he'd be good. I didn't think we were getting a leader in that sense because that's something this locker room has lacked in a few last few years as a defensive player. I know, Campbell, he was good and all, but like a guy that's like,
Yeah.
no, haven't had it. Royce Ray Lewis and Ed Reed.
A guy
Royce
that
Ray
doesn't
Lewis.
need breaks or anything, who's going to be out there in the shit with you, running virtually every single down. That's what they needed. Again, Calais Campbell was great. I loved him. The man took a lot of breaks, man. He was on that sideline in regular clothes more than he wasn't towards the end.
Yeah.
And again, Roquan's out there proving because again, he has key plays. He makes great tackles. He makes great reads. We are truly, again, like I said, 10 years from now, when we're sitting here talking about the Ravens of whatever, and I don't know, Ryan Day's son is quarterbacking for the Ravens. Um, inside tip. We're going to be talking about the fact that Roquan came here on a whim and literally took over the defense. Crazy. I don't know. Again, we're recording on Halloween night for a reason, and we're just gonna make it throw it in this. No trades, no trades whatsoever. I thought there was gonna be at least one.
I,
Ross did not. Ross did not.
like I mentioned, last year there was a need at middle linebacker. This year we had places that we could improve, but did we have to? And then also, was that draft pick going to be worth the comp pick we're going to get for them, or are we going to pay them and then lose one of our own people?
Yeah.
We have so many people coming up that we want us to pay. We have talked about it many times. Matabike on the line, Queen, Gino. Yeah. We're not going to be able to get them all. We're going to get comp picks for some. Were you maybe a third for Chase? What? Yeah. Running back wise, I think I would have rather had a Barkley or a Josh Jacobs. I think that would have fit better with Gus.
Yeah.
Apparently, Raiders wanted a 2, and I ain't giving up a 2 for a rental. When I think the most we get back is a comp as a third. So
we know.
Of course, now everyone's like, oh, well, Erica, those second and third round pick this year, they're gonna be real screwed. We don't what. This is Twitter. Someone went yelling at Eric DeCosta's wife on Twitter again for no.
They're still doing that.
Yeah.
Why?
Because they're stupid.
God. I feel like at the end of the day, they tried to get Derrick Henry, and I think that would have been at the very least a wow move. That would have been the biggest trade of the year. That would be like the Ravens are fucking all in, and defenses are like, God damn it. But I don't think it makes the Ravens actually that much better because I think it doesn't really fit our system. He's such a running back that needs to be downhill. He needs 25 carries. He needs to be running all games so that by the fourth he's revved up. I think in this offense he would have gotten like 15 carries and it would have been personally. I don't know if he would have been as effective as like a Josh Jacobs to your point.
Yeah.
But also I think with Lamar Jackson's contract and these players need to be paid, you need these draft picks because you're going to have to get cheap labor. And if you're dealing away your elite, just middle round picks, guys that end up being like a Marshall Yanda, um, or Dobbins, those kind of guys that you can come in and make a difference immediately. You can't be just giving those picks away every year like they have been the last couple.
Yeah.
And so I think they're going back to what made them good for so long, and they just never gave up draft capital. So I think they definitely tried. but I don't think they were just going to throw away picks for guys like Montez Sweat just because they're on the market.
Yeah, keep an eye on running backs though, because I don't doubt for a second. I don't doubt for a second. Second or third round, we're getting a running back. We're getting somebody. I don't know who. We're getting somebody. That is, you did bring up Montez Sweat. What's going on? Like, and we might talk about this later. I don't know. No, fuck it. We're gonna talk about it. Chase Young, Montez Sweat, the Commanders, virtually their whole pass rush gone. What the hell is that about? I personally thought that Chase Young may have had I thought that would have been a fantasy pick for me personally. I like Chase Young. I think he's a good player. He's going to do great things on the 49ers. Wow, 49ers are going to the Super Bowl, huh? That's crazy. Jesus Christ.
Sure.
Bosa
As long as they get their
and-
offense back going, their offense looked a little sketchy the past couple weeks.
Hey,
Granted, they've had
listen, let me
injuries.
remind you of the 2000 Ravens. Defense wins championships. And they got one that's built.
And they stopped the tush push,
Yep.
Philadelphia, because
Well,
that's what's going to
they stopped the tush push, and then Philly's like, oh, well, watch this one now. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
run a counter out of the tush push.
Bounce.
Everyone knew that was coming eventually, and it still got everyone confused.
Philly is,
you just can't let Philly get near the end zone,
yeah,
and you can beat them. I think.
yeah.
I'm just excited the Ravens are in the conversation, and I will deal with the tush push when we get there.
I the Ravens are in there, and again, right now they're sitting at 6-2, a four-way tie in the AFC playoff picture though at the top. That's crazy. They were talking about the Ravens possibly getting a bye. I was like, no, please, like, I
don't want it.
Don't want to buy no more buy. Baltimore and buys do not work. I don't know who y'all gonna lose to, but y'all gotta lose one more. There's no fucking way. No, we're not doing another bye week. Like the Ravens,
Yeah.
most complete team in the NFL, they could have a bye. Nope. We're good with the one. Just the one. That's all we need.
How about this stretch of football, though? I do honestly think I think it's the Chargers, which is a tough game on the road Monday Night Football. But then the 49ers on Christmas night, that's going to be a fucking insane game. And then
Yeah.
7 days later, maybe even 4 days later, because they might get flexed into it, is Ravens Dolphins at M&T Bank Stadium. Hopefully, all three of us will be in the house for that one.
Hopefully.
I'm definitely going to be there.
That's
But
gonna be
1 o'clock
fucking
on New Year's Day? Are you fucking kidding me? Lock me in, baby.
Ugh.
Game of
That's
the
a
year,
must-see
probably.
football, bro.
That's just we're literally facing potentially the best two teams in football in a 7 game span. And
Yeah.
that's just going to be a great check of where we are as a football club ahead of the playoffs.
Not to mention Lamar Jackson's just inability to lose to NFC teams. I want to see that challenge against the 49ers. Dude, Christmas night. I'm not staying anywhere too late. I'm getting home by at least.
And
I
also,
think
as of right now, it seemed like everyone questioning whether to take their bye after the London game was a questionable decision. Yeah, it's lining up pretty good right now with 3 home games, or Monday night game, and then a bye game, and then a home game.
Wow.
no,
It's
I
think they picked the right bye week.
Yeah.
they got blessed there. Plus, I think if you're looking at Lamar Jackson as an MVP candidate, ton of primetime games coming, ton of huge opponents coming, and I think the Ravens they opened up some eyes against Detroit, which coming into that game, some people had them as the #1 team in the NFL
Yeah.
in their power
Beat the
rankings.
Chiefs.
And so if we do well now in these games and we beat the 49ers on Christmas Day or whatever in their house, half ass. So hopefully we can do it. But I think Lamar is going to get a ton of MVP noise down the stretch. And we're a December football team. We're built for it. Get ready, Gus Edwards, because we're going to need you.
Yeah. Ravens Lamar stays healthy. That ain't a question.
That's always been the thing.
That's
like, if
it.
he's healthy, we're going deep. We're making the playoffs, and we got a shot at it.
That's literally it. Oh man. Well, around the division, Ravens sitting at 6-2, Steelers 4-3, Browns 4-3, Bengals 4-3. What? Literally the toughest division in the NFL. It's insane. Steelers took a loss. Womp, 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 womp. That again, Ravens are controlling their own destiny. They're doing what they have to do. I definitely think coming off of London, getting that's a confidence builder of a win against the Titans in London. And the team looks focused. They look locked in. Sure, it wasn't the deep passes this week. It didn't look as flashy as against the Lions, but that was a locked in team that grinded. I didn't honestly for most of the game. Hollywood was non-existent though. Going back to the game, Hollywood Brown was non-existent until the end. I was like, I even texted you. Now realizing a little early, I was like, great. Hollywood's non-existent. Nothing's happened. Boom, he gets a touchdown. Like, are you fucking?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was quiet, not saying it. I was like, oh no, don't stop throwing to him, please.
Yeah.
I don't want him to do anything.
Yeah,
His first catch, I was like, please tackle him. Don't let him break one of these stupid screens.
Nelson Aguilar on the hands team. Jesus, that was almost.
He got scared. He's like, I don't want it. Oh wait, I'm supposed to catch
You
this.
better catch it.
I was supposed to get on this. Like, huh?
Yeah, no, but a very fun game. Go out to the desert, pick up a big victory. Game ball. No brainer goes to Gus Edwards. He was the offense with 19 carries, 80 yards, 4.2 yards a carry for the big man, 3 touchdowns. Like Gus the most underrated running back in the NFL? I think
I'm arguing one of the most underrated players in football, period. Just
100%.
because he just how many fantasy points did he have on Sunday and no one gives a shit? Like it's incredible. Like if you get 3 touchdowns in a game, you should be all over the place and no one's talking about him.
AFC
The point is like, are we gonna trade for a running back? Because we don't have one. Like, are you kidding me? Like teams would probably kill for Gus Edwards.
Someone even said, we'll trade a third and Gus to Titans for Henry. Like, huh?
That's silly.
Well, because everyone's like, well, we're not going to need a thumper because we'll have Henry. Like, what huh? Gus's career average per carry, I think I keep seeing like ranks up there with like Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
He goes forward all the time.
He may be the reason if he can stay healthy another couple of years, we may not even worry too much about a draft pick at running back. Again, he's a complete back, especially when he's healthy. Like, there were times where I remember him and JK. I would have preferred Gus Edwards over JK. I am right now. I'm loving it. 3 touchdowns on the ground. Are you kidding? Stop playing with your boy. Again, has Gus Edwards been paid yet? Any extension?
No, I doubt he will be.
I think he got a little extension. I think last year.
Yeah,
I think we extended him. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah. Again, in this new age NFL, where running backs only are given virtually 5 years. Hopefully, he's good with whatever they give him. I don't know what's going to happen. And at the end of the day, enjoying the ride right now on the Gus bus. I mean, this team, week in, week out, I feel like last season we were having a lot different conversations. That's all I'm saying.
100%. We would have lost this game last year. We would have given up the touchdowns late to lose. 100%.
100%. Well, any last thoughts, Jordan?
I don't think the Ravens are completely out of the jungle, so to speak, yet. The Bengals might be the hottest team in football right now. And I'm just thank God we have a 2-game lead on them and the head-to-head. But I think it's going to come down to that Thursday night game in a couple weeks. The Ravens can pretty much put it away with that win. If they don't, I think it's going to be a freaking drag race to the finish line. But the Ravens' schedule does favor them a little more. But that's just my thoughts.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, all the teams that we're about to come up to decided to improve on the trade deadline. Including Seattle right off the bat. I was like, you stupid Giants. And someone pointed out that one of Linderbaum's lowest PFFs was against him. I was like, yeah, cool.
Yeah,
thanks, Giants. Then they decided, hey, let's have an Ohio State reunion back out in San Francisco.
Like what? Who allowed that? Damn. Like, are you kidding? Like, wow.
But I will also point out, none of the real top teams in the AFC really did anything.
Yeah.
The Chiefs did not get a wide receiver. I had
I
heard
thought
Hollywood in
D
Kansas
Hop
City
was
all
going to the
week.
Chiefs.
Yeah.
I thought for
Someone
sure.
pointed out this. It was just more or less it was the NFC catching up to the AFC.
Oh, that's how it always is.
We got all the quarterbacks now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, hell of a week. We're getting ready to take on the Seahawks. It's gonna be fun. No, definitely the Ravens are in a good position, I think, honestly. Yeah, like Jordan said, Thursday night game against the Bengals. That I think that decides the division. I can't. Steelers, their defense is playing lights out. Their offense is absolutely god awful. The Browns don't know who their quarterback is. Again, our biggest challenge is the Bengals. All eyes on the Bengals. Can't forget about the teams we have to play between now and then, but it just comes down to it.
And can I just say it's been a while since we've seen a meaningful football game at M&T Bank Stadium. Like I feel like it's usually an inferior opponent or
Mhm.
Lamar Jackson's hurt or something. Like it's literally, I think it's literally been since Kansas City came to town a few years ago in the
That
opener
was great.
that we've seen a game where it's like, and even that didn't have the kind of because it was the opener. It didn't feel like the weight of a Thursday night game in November, the weather,
Yep.
the magnitude of it all. Just to be playing a team like the Super Bowl a couple years ago, the divisional champ, like that's going to be an insane atmosphere. And just to watch meaningful football, kind of like watching the Orioles play a meaningful game in September, it's going to feel the same way, and it's just going to be
Yeah.
an impassioned fan base. And I think watching that offense come out of that fucking tunnel, I'm all black uniforms. I'm
Oh,
already losing my. I've already lost my voice thinking about
like
it.
this is gonna
Like
be
Joe Burrow is going to learn.
dude.
I think
Last
he's
time I was
focused.
there on a primetime game against, I think it was a Sunday night football game. Was it last year or the year before against the Bengals? And homeboy learned. No, God, I can't wait. No, it's been an exciting football season so far. We're at the midway point. Um, it's only up from here, I think. You know, the Ravens, damn it, they're one of the best teams in the NFL right now, no question. And I'm not even saying that because I'm wearing the jersey. That's just fact. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We will have a preview game coming up for this week's game. Yeah, stay tuned. Take care.